3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another training video for the radio equipment. In this training video, we're going to be talking about the Tascam solid state recorder and player, which is this device right here. So the Tascam solid state recorder and player is a device that you can use with USB drives and memory cards. So all you have to do to use it is turn it on, and then you plug in your media device. In this case, we have a USB flash drive, which is probably the most common device you would be using. When you plug it in, it will say media reading. Now, unfortunately, for a lot of devices, they are not going to immediately work with the Tascam. So you're going to want to be sure you have a dedicated flash drive or memory card to use with the Tascam, because it has to format that device in order for it to work with the Tascam. And when you format it, it's going to erase all of the data that is currently on the flash drive. So as you saw, very briefly it showed on the screen that it was an unsupported file format for this flash drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in the menu to format this flash drive. We're going to go in the menu, use the jogger knob right here, the multi-jog knob, to jog down to option 3, which is utility. Press the jog button down to select it, and then we're going to select number 1, memory format. And then we're going to push again to execute the format. Depending on the device, it will hopefully be very quick, and then once that format box disappears, you should be good to go, and you could push menu until you get back to this screen. Now your device is properly set up and ready to go for use, whether that is throwing tracks on the device to play on the air, or more commonly used for recording. So, to record onto a device, all you have to do is hit the record button. Now this throws it into standby mode. And standby means that it is not actually recording, it is just waiting or pre-processing, getting ready to record. Once you see a VU meter at the top, then you know it is ready to start recording. So you'll probably want to do this about a minute or two before you want to start recording, such as a minute before your show. And then as soon as you want to start recording, you hit the play button to start recording as such. It is currently recording on-air programming. Any and all channels that are selected with the odd option or odd assign active, those are the channels that are going to be picked up on the solid state recorder. So basically it's the same channels that are sent to the computer for computer recording if you were to record on the computer instead. When you want to pause the recording but you don't want to actually stop it, aka start a new file, you just click the pause button and it will pause until you click play again to resume. And then when you want to close out the recording or the file, you just hit stop and it will write that track to your device as such. And now you have a recorded audio file. Now to play a file, when you insert the device into the Tascam, you'll use the multi-jog utility to jog between track numbers. Unfortunately, it does not have the capability of showing file names on here, which is unfortunate. So you kind of have to guess what file is what when you're jogging through. But when you get to a track that you want to actually play on the air, you hit the play button. It will cue it, of course. It will not immediately start playing until you hit play again. And now it is playing through the SS channel on the mixer board. And you got your usual other functions too. Pause to pause the playback, play to resume the playback, and stop to stop the playback. That's pretty much all you need to know. There are some more advanced functions that you can use on this device as well, which are located in the menu. For instance, you can set your settings for playing. So you could turn repeat on and off, for instance, auto cue, auto ready, and so on. We're not going to cover that in this video because those are more advanced utilities and you don't really need to know about that. Input select on the recording menu, you're always going to leave at ABAL. Input volume, you may decide to change this if you notice that your recordings are too loud or too soft. So a plus means that there will be a gain on the volume. It will be louder than the original volume. And then minus means it will be more quiet than the original volume. So you could set the level like that. You could also set balance as well, which basically means center means that the volume will not be changed between the left and the right channel. If you set a balance number to a certain area, so like L50 for instance, that means that all of the audio will be directed to the left channel or the left ear, and then the lower the number, the less amount is going to be redirected to that ear. And then of course R is for the right ear. We have recording format, which allows you to choose how you want the recordings to be saved. You got MP3, so you could also additionally choose whether you want to record it stereo, which means you have a separate channel for the left and the right ear, or mono, which means it will be the same in both ears. You have the sample rate under that. So usually it's 44.1 kilohertz. That seems to be the standard for audio. You may also decide on using 48 kilohertz instead. And then you also have the bit rate. The higher the bit rate, the bigger the file size is going to be, but the higher the audio quality is going to be. Generally, we recommend anywhere from 192 kilobits per second up to the highest, which is 320 kilobits per second. You could also jog through here to choose between MP3 and WAV. WAV files are uncompressed and they will take up a lot of space very quickly, so you're going to want to use a pretty big flash drive if you use WAV files. Generally, an 80-minute WAV file will take about 800 megabytes of space, depending on the sample rate that you use for a WAV file. So that is all we're going to cover in the menu. Another cool thing is if you have multiple devices plugged in, you can push the device button to select between which device you want to use, whether that's a USB, the SD card, or an CF card, which is a more old school memory card. So you just jog to the item you want, push it in, and that selects it. Function allows you to quickly, without having to go through all of the options in the menu, allows you to quickly select whether you want repeat, auto cue, auto ready, and so on. Home display allows you to choose how you want the track to display, or how you want the display to read. And I think I just found out how you can read file names. Okay, I did not know that this device could do that. The more you know. So there is a display where you can actually show the title of the file. And you could also look at the folder that you're in as well. So just push home display to cycle through that. I think I might leave that on as the default because that seems more intuitive than just using track numbers, if you ask me. All right, pretty cool. And it will even tell you what file name it's going to save as on that display when you are recording a new file. That's very dope. All right, so that's pretty much, oh, and then you have an edit button here, which allows you to sometimes edit a track. It's not letting you edit this one though. Not sure why. It's interesting. Wonder if you have to actually play it to edit it. Nope. I guess maybe it doesn't edit MP3s. And then you have a finder as well, which allows you to find a specific track that you want to play. So I guess that's another way you can browse through the tracks, is through the finder button. And of course you have skip, and fast forward and rewind is up here. You have a pitch changer right here, which allows you to change the pitch as such. So there's the pitch shifter. You have a headphone jack to monitor the audio from the device, directly from the device. And if you find that these knobs and stuff are problematic, you can plug in a PS2 keyboard and use a keyboard controls instead if you want to do that. So that is the basics of the Tascam solid state recorder and player. We hope you found this informational, and we'll see you again in other training videos.